Oh, I'm live, yay. Hi you guys, Jordan Page from FunCheaperFree.com and BudgetBootcamp.com. For those of you who don't know who I am, hi, I'm Jordan, and I have a blog, FunCheaperFree.com. I also have a really fun online budgeting program for those of us who hate budgeting, who are bad with money, and aren't good at math. And it's called BudgetBootcamp.com. And if you use the code Facebook or YouTube, if you're watching this on YouTube, then you can get 10% off. I apologize for the noise. I'm in my living room because I've got a kid sleeping in my bed. I normally do this in my nice quiet bedroom, but I'm down here in the center of my house. So you're gonna hear Maury squawking, kids waking up, and hello to everybody who's watching this after the fact on YouTube. So my question that I wanna answer today is one that's near and dear to my heart. It is from Instagram. I did one from Facebook last time. So it's from Michaela Lacueva. And her question is, I do use a budget, but I keep getting it all mixed up because my husband's pay is commission-based right now. Right now he has a small base pay and we try to live off of that and then put all of the commission into our savings. But his base pay will leave soon. Any idea how to set a budget when you don't know how much you will make? Yes, I'm so happy to answer this question because you may or may not know, go to my blog, FunCheaperFree.com, to learn more about my story, but we have pretty much always been an inconsistent income. My husband is a salesman by trade, so he was kind of commission based before he then started his own sales company back when we were newlyweds. And if anyone is self-employed, you know that your income can be like this, and ours always has been until pretty recently when he was able to actually put himself on payroll and take a consistent paycheck. But even then, it's not really all that consistent because as the business grows or if it has a bad year, we constantly have to adjust. Maybe a bonus comes in, maybe we owe extra in taxes. Our income is all over the place. All right, so first things first, with someone who is commission-based, tip-based, or somebody maybe who has like high season and low season income, the first thing you gotta do is find an average and live off of that. In Michaela's case, the fact that they have a base income and live off of that is exactly what I would tell them to do in that situation. So what you wanna do is look at a 6-month slice of your year. So if you have a high season, let's say you do Christmas lights for a living, then your high season obviously would be Christmas time. So take like half of the high season, half of the low season, and find an average in there, and that is your new income. It's really hard and it takes a lot of self-control, but you really need to live off of that. So the way to make that work well is, if you guys know me, you know that I love bank accounts, and I think every family should have at least 7 bank accounts open, and maybe open another one just for called income account. So what happens is, let's say you have a month where you make above your average. You take all that extra, as hard as it is to do, you take that extra and you stick it in your income savings account. And you use that account for when you have a low month and you don't quite make that average and you need it to swing you so you can pay your bills and stuff. Hi, buddy. You're cute. This is Hutch. He's my oldest. He's 7. Hi, buddy. We've got 5 kids, for those who don't know. Okay, I love you, buddy. I'm gonna finish this up in just a minute. So anyway, so that's the first thing I would do. And then you just have, like I said, you have to use a lot of self-control, and remember that that money that's set aside in that income account is only to swing you on the low months. It's not to go to Disneyland on, because then on those low months, you'll end up putting money on a credit card and you just don't wanna do that. So that's the first thing I would recommend. 7 bank accounts, I have it all written out on my blog. So if you go to FunCheaperFree.com and you just search in the little search bar, 7 bank accounts, I break them down for you. But really it's to help you keep money where you need it. Like a savings account just for medical expenses, savings account for saving up for things like Disneyland or a couch, or if you need new tires for your car, an emergency savings account, an account for me and the things that I'm responsible for paying for throughout the month, one for my husband, different things. Okay, so let's talk about budgeting, right? So she's like, so how do you even budget when you don't know how much you're gonna make that month? Truly, you guys, that has been our life for most of our marriage, I would say. And a lot of it just comes down to setting money aside for things. And that's why the bank account is having multiple bank accounts is so important. So what I recommend doing is I have this thing called the 70% rule. And again, I explain this in full detail on my budgeting program. It's a video program at budgetbootcamp.com. And if you use the code Facebook or YouTube, if you're watching this on YouTube, you can get 10% off. So I explain this in detail in my program. I also have it on my website for free, funcheaperfree.com. But whatever you bring home that month, not what your paycheck says, but after taxes, after withholdings, after everything, what you actually deposit in your bank account, you have to live off of 70% of that. So you need to budget based on percentages, not dollar amounts. Because if you have $5,000 one month and $2,000 the next month, it's hard to reset your budget every month. But basically you take your paycheck, set aside 30%, and 70% is what you have to live off of for your bills, your mortgage, your groceries, your fun, whatever it is. 20% every single month should go into savings. Or if you're in debt, like if you've got credit card debt, then it needs to go toward your debt, because savings isn't gonna do you any good. I mean, try to keep like $1,000 in your savings account, but really ultimately it needs to go toward debt. And then the other 10% is kind of up to you. We are LDS, we're Mormon, and in our church, we believe in giving 10% of our money to tithing to the church, and it helps other countries, and it helps build temples and different things. So with that 10%, you could do something philanthropic with it. You could put it into retirement. You could have extra money in savings. You could invest it, whatever you need to do with that. But yeah, I mean, that's really what it comes down to. And then I just posted a video on my YouTube channel, and it's the simplest budgeting method ever. Go watch that. It's also on my blog. Go watch that. It's so simple, but basically what it teaches you is not to budget per month for things that you spend money on regularly, but it teaches you to budget per week. And that's gonna be very important if you've got a varying income, because maybe you say, okay, I've got $600 this month for groceries, but then what if you have a really tight month? You really should just look at your budget 1 week at a time, which is 6 or 7 days at a time, and it really helps you manage it week by week if you need to, if your income's all over the place, and as you're trying to get hold of living off of that average. So that's pretty much it. My budgeting technique for budgeting weekly for things like groceries and date nights and entertainment and such, opening multiple bank accounts, and having one bank account just for income so that when you have surplus, it goes in there. Just being patient. So I have another principle that I call the 3-month rule. And that means if you just set a dollar amount. For Bubba and I, it's $100. And I know this seems overkill. So if we need to buy anything that's over $100, we have promised to wait 3 months to buy it. And the reason you do that is because you probably need 3 months to set aside money for it, or within 3 months, there's guaranteed to be a holiday. So it's gonna go on sale, or maybe you need that time to research and figure out the kind that you really want. But also sometimes within 3 months, you realize that thing that you had to have, you actually don't really need, and you've done fine without it. So that's the other thing, is you have to be more patient with your purchases. We've been talking about generators, and they're like $1,000. We can't just run out and buy a generator. We really can't. We have to wait until that money is saved up, till we know exactly what we want, till it goes on sale. And that's just kind of how you have to do it when you have an inconsistent income. And really, you should be doing that too, even if you do have a consistent income. And a spending freeze. Mary, yes. Okay, so a spending freeze is another great thing. I have a video about that on my YouTube channel as well. Basically, a spending freeze is where you don't spend any money for 7 days, for a full calendar week, except for complete emergencies, like you blow all 4 tires and you have to call a tow truck or something, or bills that are due that can't be paid early or can't wait a week. And that's it. No groceries, no school lunches, no going and getting a gas station drink or a Starbucks coffee. And that seems really hard, but you guys, it's only like 6 days, 7 days. It's not that bad. But in that 1 week, you could earn $500 to $1,000 if you think about it. $500 to $1,000 depending on how much you spend on groceries and whatever else. So if you have an inconsistent income, do a spending freeze for a week, just a week at a time. You can do one a month all year, but don't do more than a week because it's unrealistic. You're more likely to fail than succeed. And take all that money that you save, this is the important part, take it and physically put it in a bank account, that income bank account. Then you build up a little cushion for those low months and that they can swing you so that you live off of that average. And only grocery shop 1 time per week. Exactly, Kelly, good job. I talk about that in my budgeting video. That's it. quick and simple. Hopefully that helped. Leave additional questions below and I will try to get to those, or maybe I'll choose one of those to answer for next week. And if you guys have any other ideas for how to live off of an inconsistent income, then leave those below and we can all help and share and help each other out. Again, if you guys want more handholding, go to budgetbootcamp.com. Use the code Facebook or the code YouTube for 10% off. I promise you it will save you more money than you could ever imagine. And if it doesn't save you at least what you paid for it, I will give every single dime back. I don't charge taxes. I'll give it all back. Out of, I think we have 1,200 users right now. We've had like less than 10 returns, I think, in this year. Try it, okay? Love you guys. Hope you have a great day. Bye.